Carly, this is Dan.
Hey, Dan. This is Ryan. How you doing today, bud?
I'm well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to fight through an issue, and I figured I'd give you guys a shout and see what you guys thought.
Okay.
I've got a 17 F250. Got your full Pintop set up on it. 2.5.
2.5? Okay.
Yep, 2.5. Devers in the rear, radius arms, the full gamut.
Awesome.
I am getting my alignment is dead nuts, and I am getting a pull to the right.
You running Toyo mud terrains?
No, I am running Nitto Ridge Grapplers.
And they're pulling to the right. My Nitto Ridge Grapplers pull to the left. What's your alignment?
Yeah.
Are you lighter, or what's your caster on driver and passenger?
3.7 both.
Okay, well that's going to be, I guess, your not really your issue, but if you've got a pull one way or the other and your alignment is straight, then that 100% means that your tires are pulling.
Well, so here's the interesting thing. They were pulling. Just put 2 brand new tires on it. Still pulling.
Right. Well, I mean, if you put the same tires on it, it's usually the way that the tread lays down, not a defective tire thing.
Gotcha.
So like it's always been there's a bunch of new. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter because they're not a directional tire. So it's the way that the tread lays on the ground that it compresses and then releases is what causes a radial pull or the belt construction of the tire. Notoriously from the past, you've got Nitto trail grapplers that pull to the left because of their tread design. You've got Toyo mud terrains that pull to the right. And that's usually what you're going to see. The Ridge grapplers I have on my personal truck, they don't really seem to pull one way or the other, but, I do my own alignments. I don't even know what the caster reading is. So that being said, I corrected mine with a steering stabilizer and called it good. So that being said, we are coming out with our steering stabilizer.
Well, and I did that too.
You did what too?
I put steering stabilizers on it. And
well, it doesn't help if they're not adjustable.
Well, they're Kings. So I
you
guess
put King steering stabilizers on it?
Yeah. Because your guys' steering stabilizer won't work on the 2.5.
Well, it will. It's just we had to wait until it was done. So we're finishing that up, and
I'm gonna climb through the phone and kill radio, just so you know.
Why is that?
Because he told me it wouldn't work.
Well, it wouldn't. So the thing is, without getting too far into the process, the misalignment stud that we used to connect the steering stabilizer to the bracket on the drag link was too tall. Right. So what was going on was when we installed it on the 2.5, it would cycle, everything was good. On full compression in a right-hand turn, you've got a radiator hose that is going to basically run into that stud. So we shortened the stud, we changed the bracket, we did all these different things a million times trying to avoid changing it into a stud that was going to be specific to that truck. We finally got to the end of, 8 iterations of this stupid stabilizer, and we got to the point where a pin will work on both this and every other application. So we fixed it. It's done. Now it's, small company problems where we have a machine shop that's backed up because of everything that we produce in the shop here. And it's like, well, is this more important than this? Is this more important than this? Right. Where do we jam it in?
No,
so
my overload bags are more important.
Yeah,
That's what I'm waiting on.
And that won't exist. That's the problem. So the steering stabilizer was wait till we get it done. The bags we will not ever do for the 2.5 Ford, and it's not that we don't want to. It's a problem of that kit has too much travel.
Really?
Yeah, the rear. So you got the Pintop 2.5 with the full Devers in the back. You have what's called an L18 spring in the back. The L18 is a 2-inch relaxed variant of the K85. The K85 is the 4.5-inch lift spring. So you have all the same compressed and extended dimensions of the 4.5-inch kit. Additionally, you have the same amount of travel because the rear shocks are the same. So it means great things for performance. What it also means is it cycles exactly the same as the 4.5 kit, but rides 2 inches high or 2 inches lower, at ride height. So the problem is it needs the same bag kit as the 4.5, but the piston for the lower bag, or for the lower part of the bag, rides 2 inches deeper into the bag at ride height. That can't happen because then the bag rolls over and rubs that lower bracket, and there's no solution. We can't shorten the bag. We can't, shorten the piston. There's no solution to that problem because we need the collapsed and extended dimensions of that bag system. So it's basically screwed us. We tried to make something work, and it just wouldn't work.
Okay, so that leads me to my next conundrum then. I'm wondering if I put the wrong suspension on my truck.
Why is that?
So it's a crew short bed F250. I do paintless dent repair for a living.
Okay.
And have a crap ton of gear in the back of my truck. I've got a snug top camper lid on it. On top of the camper lid, I've got a front runner rack with an Alu cab awning hanging off the side of it, and I'm getting ready to drop in a truck vault and a gear slide.
Ooh.
My truck is sitting down. Yeah, my truck is sitting ass deep as it is, and that's why I'm like, man, and I'm going to tow with it. So I'm almost wondering if I need to put the 4.5 spring under there and still call it a 2.5-inch kit.
You already have the 4.5 spring. It's just relaxed 2 inches. So the thing is, you could always take your springs and just have them re-arched to save you from buying a new leaf pack. But the honest truth, I wouldn't run that light of a spring rate with that much rate in the back. So these, leaf springs do great.
Spring.
I would tell you need an HD version of the pack that you have in the back there, because if you got a truck vault, a camper shell, an awning, front runner rack, not that stuff really weighs anything, you're probably going to be 1,500 pounds more than stock in the back.
I'm easy 12. Easy 12.
Yeah, and see, we have HD variants of the Dodge Leaf Pack, because there are so many guys that that needed it that we eventually just did one that are $1,700, and they do the leaf pack that's the same as the regular leaf pack we have, but out of a heavier gauge spring steel. So it's basically made for guys that have 1,000 to 1,500 pounds in the bed at any given time, and that's the new baseline.
You mean the guys that use trucks like trucks?
Guys that use trucks like trucks, exactly. But see, the problem is that's constant bed weight. I've got dudes that are farmers that are whatever that hook up their skid steers, tractors, whatever, once or twice a week, but they don't have any constant bed load, and that's the problem.
My constant is 1,000. I mean, the truck vault and the gear slide's 500. The camper top's 3. Plus the awning and the rack, call it another 100.5. That's my consistent weight. Sands tools, whatever. Is that something that Deaver can do?
Yes, it would be a custom pack. I would basically just have to send Scott a note, and it would be between you guys. We wouldn't make any money in the deal or broker the deal. I would just say, look, we need, this customer's got 1,500 pounds in the bed all the time. He's got the L18 leaf spring. What do you recommend? Do we re-arch these into a K85, or do you guys build him a custom HD pack? To support this bed load and see where he goes with it. And then you would just buy the leaf springs from them. Because at that point, it's a custom pack,
Right. And
I just want to make sure you're handled the right way, because the answer is you could always do a, double bellow airbag kit with a onboard compressor and Daystar airbag cradles with 2-wheel drive lower mounts and build a bag kit that will work for your truck. What I don't like is it sounds like that's going to be part of the primary suspension. And an airbag kit is made to be supplemental suspension, So an airbag kit is for exactly the customer I was just talking about that tows a skid steer a couple times a week, but the bag shouldn't be engaged all the time. They're there to supplement payload, not actually support the weight of the truck and all that. So I would tell you that your correct solution, because you don't sound like a guy that does things the wrong way, is a new leaf pack that's made to support the weight of that truck. Or if Deaver can modify that pack to work, have him go that route.
Okay. That is something I would love to explore, just to do this, do this right. And I love the way the truck looked empty bedded.
Sure.
I mean, it's that, because these springs have sagged out a little bit now that they've got a little bit of time on them. and the truck's, starting to sit down less than level. I'm sitting a little nose high at this point.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's leaf springs for you,
Oh, I know.
What's your email address, Ryan? I'll get you in an email string with Scott over at Deaver and see what he says.
It's R Ford, like the truck.
Okay.
1911.
All right.
At gmail.com.
Okay, L18.
Yeah, because I'm planning on towing with this thing too. Shoot. Should have went with the 4.5 deck on it.
Yeah, but even still, like I said, with that much bed load, you would have probably 40 to 50 psi in our airbags at all times, and they're not designed to do that either.
Yeah, and then the rebound's going to be insane on that too.
Well, and so will compression ramping. I mean, airbags have an exponential damping curve, and that's what I can't stand about them, and why we won't do an air ride kit. Where everybody's like, well, why don't you want to do that? I'm like, it's great over a manhole cover, but you hit anything over 2 inches tall, and it basically, it ramps up exponentially, kicks and carries the rear end. You don't want any of that,
Yeah, right.
Well, all right, I'll get an email chain started with Deaver, and we'll see. We'll have them look into it, and I guess see what Scott recommends for this, and move forward whatever way you need to.
Awesome, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
No problem, Ryan. I'll be in touch.
All right.
Take care. Bye bye.